everybody, and welcome to this very special edition of Innerspace, taking you behind the scenes of Bitten. And as you can see, I'm joined by three of the stars, Laura Vandervoort, Greg Brick, and Grayston Holt. Thanks for being here, you wild wolves. How's it going?
Fantastic.
Hey, can I ask, is there a werewolf high five? Someone high five you?
Yes, I told you it's this.
That is good. It's like that and a claw explosion.
That's good. That's like the kids are going to be doing. I love it. Well, we're so excited for the series, and I want to start with you, Laura. You know, this is based on Women of the Otherworld, an amazing series of novels by Canadian author Kelly Armstrong. And you're no stranger to this whole world of genre with a built-in fan base through your work on V and Smallville. But why were you excited when this series came along to sink your claws or your fangs into it?
You beat me to it.
Your
I was going to say
fangs.
fangs. Growing up doing Supergirl and then on V, it was great, and I love sci-fi. The women are always strong and intelligent and dominant sometimes, and I always seem to look for that in my women characters. And then when Bitten came along, I spoke to JB, who's our executive producer, and we just discussed how the werewolves would look, the vibe of the show, and I read the books, and I just fell in love with the idea of it and how layered she was, and signed on, and was very excited to do something a little more adult and risky.
Wicked. Yeah. Well, glad you signed on. Glad all of you signed on. We're going to have more with the three of you throughout the half hour. But first up, Innerspace has been on the set of Bitten since the very beginning. So let's look at how you and your fellow cast members describe the show.
Action.
Is she always tough to work with?
She's the worst.
Well, in the past, I've been like, yeah, I'm an alien. Okay, now I'm a lizard. So now I just say I'm a werewolf. It's fun because also there's the side of it where she's the only female werewolf. She doesn't want to be a part of that world. So it's the constant struggle that she's going through of her inner animalistic instincts, which is to run with the pack and be with them. And she really does love that world, but she's trying to deny it. She's trying to pretend she's just a human and have that life. She's working so hard to believe that's what she wants.
You, Clay, the ability to run, none of it was worth it. If I had to be that thing again.
That thing is who you are.
It's nice because it plays with, in this world, because it's werewolves and it's archetype and mythology that is grand and primal, and the tone of it is almost Shakespearean. I mean, it's big issues of family and power and dynasty, but on another level, it's very human.
Bitten follows Elena's struggle to come to terms with being the world's first female werewolf, and the impact that has on werewolf culture.
There's such a rich backstory, and it just speaks to such a complex drama. I mean, I always like to pitch the show as a drama first, and with supernatural elements really are tertiary to the stories and to the characters. So much like Battlestar Galactica kind of transcended the space genre, Bitten is going to transcend the creature werewolf genre as well.
But I don't have anything recent on Malcolm Danvers.
My father? He's dead.
Tell us a little bit about where we pick up episode 1 right out of the gate.
It starts off in Toronto with her human boyfriend, Paul Green, who plays Philip, and her life as a photographer, and she just seems like a very normal girl trying to make her way. And then suddenly you get thrown into this whole other world of the show in Stonehaven. So halfway through the first episode, you do see that world, and it really pulls you in. And then you see the contrast of the city versus, the woods, really, and this beautiful little town, and how she's torn between the two possibilities.
Is this what they mean by suffering for art? My suffering? Your art?
I'll get it as soon as I can, and I'll come right back here, and I'll make it up to you, okay?
I describe the series like a really sexy thriller werewolf drama of this woman who's like the only female werewolf to ever survive a bite and a transformation, and that she has this crazy love for me, of course, but she's torn by the guy who bit her, who lives out in the woods, and she's in this bizarre sort of a faux love triangle. It's not really a love triangle. It better not be a love triangle.
I mean, it's this awkward kind of love triangle, I guess. I mean, even though I don't know of Philip necessarily, I don't really know him well. It's a screwed up love triangle.
Yeah, if you will.
Even though I think she wants me in the end.
I'm not going on the hunt. It's not why I came here.
It's two very different worlds. Grayston, she's unsure, and it's chaotic, and it's animalistic, and it's exciting. And then with Philip, it's comfortable, and I know what to expect, and I feel safe. There's so many sides to Elena, which is what I love about her, because I can be a tomboy, but then there's really passionate romantic scenes where she's very feminine. She's living such two different worlds, two different lives, which is exciting for me to play because I'll do different scenes with different characters, and I'm almost a different person myself based on who I'm working with.
I want to be who I am in Toronto. A normal person, not a killer.
Elena, this is a very different situation. This mutt could kill again.
Relationships, I think, are very strong, which is important because, you know, in this genre, there's a lot of sex and action and you know, it's a kind of a thriller in a way. But if you don't have a heartbeat tying it all together, you lose the audience because you can only be distracted and bombarded so many times. But there's a real heartbeat underneath it, and that's built, if nothing else, throughout the series.
We all want her back. The best way of bringing her back is just give her a chance to remember that this is her home.
Well, we can only hope that the good here outweighs the bad.
Elena returns to Stonehaven to help track a dangerous werewolf, and that search leads to greater peril.
It's a heavily serialized story for the first season, and it's an escalating mystery that turns into a action-packed suspense. So it kind of takes these turns throughout the first season.
There's a bounty on wolves. And it will only keep escalating until we catch him.
I think the action escalates. I mean, it's really impactful early. I mean, stuff happens and kind of shocking things happen early. But that they somehow outdo themselves every episode. And as the bonds, it's just pressure. And it just builds towards this incredible cataclysm in episode 13 where there's truth and betrayal and blood and revenge and fathers and sons.
Coming up, we visit Stonehaven and learn about the pack.
When you talk about the pack, it's not just, you know, this little pack of feral dogs. It's the pack.
And later, we discover what audiences can expect.
It's a very sexy show. It's sensual.
Tell me to leave.
Welcome back to our Innerspace special, taking you behind the scenes of Bitten, and I'm joined by three of the stars of the show, Laura, Greg, and Grayston. I want to ask you, I'm a big fan of werewolves, going back to An American Werewolf in London, and even Lon Chaney, and Teen Wolf, which was loosely based on my life. Did you know that?
I could have guessed.
It was. You could have guessed. Yeah, from the stubble a little bit. But I want to ask you guys, what do you love about the mythology, specifically that Kelly Armstrong has created in terms of the werewolves in this lore?
You know what I think is most interesting, and there's a need, is this the primal nature of man.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a very digitized world, and to sort of get back to something elemental, and the hunger and the passion and the loyalties are something that I think we crave as a society, and we've lost that. So I think it's time for us to break through that mechanized world and not be glossy screens, and be primal and passionate and violent and true to ourselves.
Which also, I mean, the cool thing she brought to the whole the werewolf genre, you know, she doesn't go by the, you know, the traditional full moon type of thing. I mean, what brings on our change is yeah, these primal urges, whether it's sexual or hunger or fear even. So I think that's a neat kind of dynamic that she's brought to it.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I really love about the show is the whole concept of the wolf pack and just how that plays out. So when I was on the set, I asked the rest of the cast about the power of the pack.
After what I did, after killing Jose Carter, all I wanted was out.
Yeah, well, the support of the pack, the family, this house. Without these things, we're bound to fail.
Yeah, but with these things, we're bound to kill.
When you talk about the pack, it's not just, you know, this little pack of feral dogs. It's the pack.
So what's the plan? I've called everyone home. We'll deal with this as a pack. All of us.
The cool thing about the show is the relationships are so defined because it's a different dynamic than you know, any regular family. There's such a strong loyalty to our alpha and to each other.
With episode 1, when viewers first meet Jeremy Danvers, can you tell us a bit about how he fits into the wolf pack?
Well, yeah, Jeremy Danvers is the pack alpha. And there was a period in the past where the previous pack alpha passed on. And my father, Malcolm, was going to be the rightful sort of heir to the throne. Some of the pack members thought that I would be better suited to lead, a little more sensitivity, big picture viewing, and my father was just this physical brute. very abusive men. So there was a split within the pack, and there was a war within the pack, and then it actually separated, and the remaining members, Antonio, Nick, Clay, Elena, they were aligned with me and became my family.
He's the alpha. He's got to call the shots, and he's got to be, Big Daddy. He tries to give a little rope, not too much, but he's teaching along the way. But he's not willing to bend too much.
Wherever this is, they broke a cardinal rule. By killing a human for sport, they have to pay for that.
It all kind of branches down from Jeremy, our pack alpha, right? And from there, we all have our place. Mine is the sort of resident enforcer and protector of the pack.
Yeah.
Laura's our resident tracker and only female.
Another killing. I knew I should have gone out last night to track him.
And that could have been you.
Is there a lot of drama within the pack? A lot of politics within the pack?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The fact that Clay's character even brought me onto the property got him into a lot of trouble with Jeremy, and that's sort of never been lived down. And a lot of the history of how I evolved into the pack is an ongoing drama for all of us.
Can't you just let me win once in our lives? It's not in my nature.
There's definitely some politics involved, but in terms of us, I mean, we're a family, right? Like, so there's always going to be issues, right? But for the most part, we have the same goal, to live as normal life as possible while maintaining the responsibility of these exceptional circumstances.
In order to live normal lives, the pack have chosen to live in a small town in upstate New York called Bear Valley. But for the TV series, it's being shot in a lovely small town in Ontario called Hespeler. What do you think makes Hespeler the perfect stand-in for Bear Valley?
It's very American looking and wholesome,
Yeah.
which is great because the pack is such a dangerous idea for the locals, and we really just want to blend in the most wholesome town that you could possibly find.
Yeah.
It feels kind of homey here, and it's just quiet. The people are really nice, and yeah, it's great to be here.
What did you think when you found out they were going to be shooting Bitten here in Hespeler?
I was really excited because I'm a very big fan of Kelly Armstrong. I've read everything she's written, pretty much. And just having it here in our little town is excellent.
Why do you think Hespeler is the perfect place to represent Bear Valley and Bitten?
Well, I mean, it's just such a homey feel. I feel like maybe I'm assuming that's what they want to go for. They want it to be a big effect on a small town, and that's kind of like what this is.
Are you now, or have you ever been a werewolf? Oh, that's a yes. Oh, hello. I got a Hespeler kiss. Thank you. We saw a dog earlier that looked a little bit like a wolf. Any relation to your werewolf side?
Yeah, that was my cousin.
That was your cousin?
It was my cousin. I saw you interviewing him.
No way.
Yeah. He has a good coat.
What? The pack's home base is Jeremy Danvers' well-appointed mansion called Stonehaven. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the set of Bitten. This is Stonehaven. Stonehaven in general just seems to be really well represented in terms of the TV version.
Yeah, it's so much of the show takes place there. Jeremy is always in Stonehaven. That's really, so the pack comes to me, and this is where the story originates, out of the details and the weight and the richness. There's a great feeling of, again, sort of like masculine weight to all of it.
Does it remind you of a soldier's helmet?
It does.
I'm not afraid of it.
It's got this haunted feeling, but this really emphasizes where your character is coming from, so this feels like home.
This is the great room. This is where people gather to sit by the fire, which is not on right now, and drink scotch and discuss things.
Whenever we're in here, I mean, the room is almost a character of itself, and it has such a great energy, and it really feeds our scenes, and it's just our gathering place.
The character of Jeremy is an artist. Some of my work's up on the walls. I mean, that's one of my paintings, and that's one of my paintings. But there's this great sense of timeless masculinity about all of this.
You can't walk into a room like this, or at least I can't walk into a room like this and not have it affect me. And we're surrounded by the werewolf porn.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah.
Which I mentioned, which is just basically depictions of dogs or dog-like creatures hunting and killing, which is what wolves like to do.
God, I really used to hate this room.
I've seen it come together from design phase on paper to this glorious set that we sit in right now, and it's a real joy to actually see this come to fruition the way it has.
Coming up, The cast shares why they think the show will connect with viewers.
It's a